The fellow who designed it, his name's William Buckland. He was born in England, in Oxford, studied in London, apprenticed in London, and then he took an indenture to come to Virginia and work with George Mason on his home, Gunston Hall. Made a reputation for himself, earned his, finished off his indenture, then was hired to come and work at the Chase Lloyd House in Annapolis, which is right across the street from Hammond-Harwood. And he was a master of proportion and of interior decoration. In other words, the moldings and the cornices and the pediments, and he knew all of that really well. So when a historic preservation architect looks at Hammond-Harwood House, they're always blown away. It's based on a 16th century design by an Italian architect called Andrea Palladio, but it's adapted for colonial Maryland. So it's a much smaller mass, and it's designed to be a presence that exists horizontally rather than vertically. It has what are called harmonically perfect proportions. So you can draw triangles and squares all over the place, and then you make arcs from those, and you get where the other parts of the building are. It's just really, really interesting. And then also we have fantastic museum collection, which you don't see anywhere else in Anne Arundel County, the type of pieces that we have. Furniture by Annapolis furniture maker named John Shaw, paintings by Charles Wilson Peale. And Peale had 17 children, and he taught most of them how to paint. So we have a number of paintings by some of his children and his brother. And the thing that's interesting about Hammond-Harwood House, about both the building and the collection, is that it has this real sense of authenticity, because the same family lived in the house from 1811 until 1924. In the 20th century, beginning of the 20th century, late in the 19th century, they didn't have any money left, and they were selling off the property. So St. John's bought Hammond-Harwood House, and they bought a couple of they owned Bryce House for a while too. And they hired this guy, R.T. Halsey, who then after that went on to found the American wing at the Metropolitan in New York, and had some amazing collection pieces. Well, then the Depression happened, and St. John's had to sell the house. And a group of garden club ladies in Baltimore ended up buying it in the 1940s. And they got the auction rolls from 1924, and they went and they wanted to buy back some of the pieces that were in the house. And they succeeded in doing that. So 30% of the items in the collection now are original to the house. So you walk into the dining room, and not only is the dining room, it has this beautiful decorative molding, and it has original floor, and it has original windows. It has the dining table and the chairs and the sideboard, all made by John Shaw, that were original to the house. So you get this sense that you don't get at other museums. We are really focused right now on uncovering more about the social history of the house. We know quite a bit about the family that lived there. We had a couple of clues to start with, and we hired a PhD history researcher to work on that for us. And now we have a pretty fully developed story of at least 3 of the women who were enslaved there. And we've created a special exhibit with items and with panels, and we're really trying to incorporate that into the story of the house, along with the rest of the family. We reopened this week, COVID grants to buy hand sanitizer stations and face masks, and we have a reservation system. So instead of just walking in and taking a tour, you have to reserve a space, and we have only X number of people in the house at the time. We are seeing, of course, people want to get out. They want to come back to the places they love. They want to do new things. So we're seeing a trickle of interest again, but definitely a financial hit. definitely a kind of moral hit because, you know, we had some great programming scheduled and we couldn't carry it out really. Um, Putting everything off, you know, to another year, kind of sad. You know, history, you know, students of history, and most of our guides are students of history, take the long view. Um, and we'll be all right, and Annapolis will be all right, and Maryland will be all right, and the U.S. will be all right, and the world will be all right. Maybe not right away, but eventually.